Death in the Eastland was never just an ending. Sometimes it was a move. In Mendev, the fire did not stop, but something else did, the breath of a king. Or so it seemed. For weeks, Queen Sharon had moved carefully within the palace, her patience sharpened into something far more dangerous than anger. She had watched Malu slow the kingdom, ease the burdens of the people, and choose restraint where she believed force was needed. To her, it was not mercy, it was weakness, and weakness in a world preparing for war was something she could not allow. So she chose to act. Her plan was quiet, hidden beneath routine and trust. A cook, a gardener, someone who moved unnoticed, became her instrument. Herbs were gathered, not for healing, but for death. At first it failed, then again, but Sharon was patient. She adjusted, waited, and tried again, until finally the poison took hold. Malu fell ill, slowly and quietly, until one day he did not rise. The palace mourned, the kingdom trembled. Word spread quickly, King Malu was dead. But death had not come unannounced. Long before the poison reached him, Malu had already been warned. General Philip, the very man Sharon believed she had drawn into her confidence, had chosen loyalty to his king. He revealed everything, the whispers, the attempts, the betrayal. And Malu, instead of reacting, began to plan. So when the poison finally worked, he let it. He allowed his body to weaken, his breath to fade, his stillness to convince everyone watching. To the palace, to the people, even to Sharon herself, the king was gone, and she believed it. For the first time she stood above the throne, certain that power was now hers. But Mendev had its traditions. When a ruler dies, their body is taken to Siro, the capital, where mourning lasts 14 nights, and on the 15th day, the body is returned for burial. It was a tradition built on honor, but also on time. Time Sharon believed she controlled, and time Malu intended to use. Carried to Siro under the weight of ritual, he was not a corpse, but a living king hidden within silence. There, within the capital, away from the queen's reach, Malu, General Philip, and his most loyal nobles began to prepare. This was no longer about rule, it was about survival, about removing a threat that had already proven how far it would go. Sharon believed she had won, but in Siro, the truth waited in the shadows. Far from Mendev, the news of Malu's death spread quickly across the Eastland, carried by traders and whispers alike, until it reached Tyre. And when King Aaron heard it, he did not hesitate. He saw opportunity. Mendev, the strongest of the six, now without a leader, vulnerable and exposed. It was the moment he had been waiting for. A council was called, but this time there was no division, no delay. The decision was clear: war. In 12 days they would march. Preparations began at once. Soldiers gathered, weapons readied, routes planned. This was not to be a simple raid, but a decisive strike. Aaron would lead it himself, taking nearly all his forces and generals with him. Only 500 soldiers remained in Tyre, placed under the command of General Jamtolo, brother to Sir Bear. It was a necessary risk, one Aaron believed he could afford. But as his army prepared to move, one truth remained hidden from him, a truth that would change everything. Mendev was not leaderless, its king was not dead, and what awaited him was not weakness, but a carefully prepared trap. Across the Eastland, the pieces were no longer just moving, they were colliding. And when ambition meets truth, not all who march to war return.